Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. It's really difficult to start a final conference and the final project meeting, and it's, to be honest, quite a disturbing role to get your attention and to start the conference, because if we see people speaking, it means that they have something to speak about, they are interested in the topic, and it means that the cooperation works, and it means that we were successful, or hopefully we were successful. Before I introduce today's program, let me introduce myself. My name is Pécs. I'm the director of the Pannon EGTC, the lead partner of the Interventures program, and I'm very happy. I'm really happy because I can welcome some colleagues, international colleagues here personally in Pécs, our project partners from Spain, from Burgos. We can host and we can welcome also the representative of the Joint Secretariat of the Interreg Europe program. So I think it's a success that after 2 years of COVID, now we can have meetings and personal meetings together. Of course, we are very happy, and I'm very happy to welcome not only the personal attendance of this conference, but also our participants, our online participants. First and foremost, I would like to welcome Balázs Loppert from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade from Hungary. He will join us, and he's here, and he joined us online for the welcome of the conference, welcome speech of the conference. And I also welcome all participants, all online participants on our final conference and final event. Before I give the word for the welcome speeches, I would like to welcome separately Dr. Eva Mikes, the curator of the foundation of Universitas Quincunx Ecclesiensis. That is the foundation responsible for the management and responsible for the ownership of the University of Pécs. I would like to welcome personally Professor Dr. József Bethlehem, Vice Rector of the University of Pécs. And at last but not least, I would like to welcome personally Dr. László Őry, President of the County Assembly of Baranya County. It is a great pleasure for us that they can be here, as they have a lot of obligations, and we are really happy that they can attend personally this meeting. So today's program is as follows. First of all, we will have the welcome speech from Balázs Loppert and from László Őry. Then we will have a short introduction of the project from our expert from Tamás Lunk, who supported us through these years in the implementation of the project. Then we will have a short introduction, or the short, let's say, state of play, as it says in the program, from Laurenciu Dávid from the Interreg Europe Secretariat. Then we will have something like a best practice introduction from György Márton, considering the introduction of the B-Light scheme. I can say that that is one of the most successful international business development schemes in Hungary, and of course the best success story of us here along the Croatian border. After that, we will hear a short presentation from Ferenc Fedor, the managing director of the Geochem Limited Company. Actually, he will introduce us the project that was implemented in the B-Light grant scheme. Then we will have a short coffee break planned just before noon. And after the coffee break, we will see and we will hear our online presentations coming from all around Europe, so to say. First, we will see the SME cooperation in the German-Dutch CBC program and the impact of new EU regulations. We will have a presentation from Martin Spargarden. He's the program manager in the Euro region Rhine-Maas Nord. And then we will have the personal presentation from our colleagues from Burgos, the two-tier support system for the internationalization of SMEs in Burgos. We will hear Beatriz Garcia-Valls' presentation. Once again, we are very happy that we can welcome you here personally in Pécs, and actually we have a wonderful weather, which was not the case a couple of days ago. So before I give the floor, just one sentence as a general introduction to all of us. We all know that, for example, in Hungary, 95% of the enterprises belong to the SMEs, 99%. It means that our target group practically is the whole economy. Our target group is practically the whole society of enterprises and entrepreneurs in our region. And it's, I think, and we all know that it's really, really a challenging job to get them to realize that internationalization and joining international programs and participating in policy making will be useful for them. They will have benefits from projects like this. And hopefully you will see from today's presentation that in the framework of this Interventures program, we can show some best practices, at least for policy making, at least for local, let's say, practices that could be useful, that could be adapted in other parts of Europe as well. And my very final word is thank you. I would like to say thank you for the European Regional Development Fund, of course, and of course to the Interreg Europe program for co-financing our project. Thank you for your attention. And now I would like to give the online floor to Balázs Loppert from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade to give a short introductory speech. Thank you.
Okay. Dear Mr. President, dear ladies and gentlemen, in the name of the Hungarian Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade, I would like to thank you for a warm invitation. EGTC is the first devised instrument of the European Union facilitating institutional cooperation that provides a framework with legal guarantees for the integrated development of isolated border areas and for the management of comprehensive transnational cooperation and program. In cohesion and regional policy, the European Commission specifically encourage member states to make use of the EGTC as an instrument of cooperation and potential for the joint management of trans-border area. Along the Hungarian borders, 20 EGTCs has been established during the past 14 years. Most of the EGTCs registered in Hungary. The Hungarian Approval Authority every year has been in wide tender to support the EGTC since 2010. These tenders has been announced despite the pandemic and the war also. In the ministry, we always seek possible developing opportunity and the possible breakout points for the EGTCs. Pannon EGTC has been established more than 10 years ago. Meanwhile, these 10 years, Pannon EGTC year by year achieve more and more qualitative work project and development plan. Due to the war, small and medium enterprises are nowadays in a very difficult situation. The intervention project, which had been worked out by the Pannon EGTC and partners, is a very useful survey which has revealed the difficulty and the development possibility for the SMEs. I am very proud and happy for that this project had been successfully managed by the Pannon EGTC. I have to mention that the Interreg program period will start soon and the Pannon EGTC will have an important part in it. We are looking forward for the satisfied future. Last but not least, I would like to wish you an effective conference. If you have any question, do not hesitate to contact us. Thank you for your kind attention.
On behalf of the organizing team and on behalf of the project team, I would like to thank the contribution and the welcome speech of Balázs Loppert. And before I give the floor to our county president, to Dr. László Őry, I would like to excuse myself. I forgot to mention that one of our colleagues is also here from the Hungary-Croatia Technical Secretariat, actually the head of the Secretariat. So my warmest welcome is to Márton Szűcs, who is the head of the Secretariat. And actually we've been knowing each other for 20 years, so sorry, Marci. Okay, Mr. President, the floor is yours.
Dear Director, Vice Rector, dear ladies and gentlemen, I warmly greet everyone who will participate in the closing event of the Interventures project, either in person, in Pécs, or in the online virtual space. This event marks and the end of the project that has started more than 3 years ago. We are very proud to have been the lead partner of the partnership. We would like to thank the partners for contributing to the successful implementation despite the difficulties caused by the pandemic. And we thank the local businesses, the chambers, the university, the organizations at the forefront of the business development, and the Hungarian state and the program management authorities for their support. The internationalization of the SMEs is a difficult but all the more important and necessary task, which can be one of the breaking points of the current economic situation, because in this way the businesses of the region can get the opportunity to go beyond the border of the region and be able to fulfill themselves in the markets beyond the region. In a region where SMEs predominate, this is a unique development opportunity. I consider it important that the new SME support system built on the experience of the project helps Croatian and Hungarian SMEs to find partners and contribute to the revitalization of Croatian-Hungarian economic relations. We are proud of the fact that we currently operate a cross-border support system that is rare in the European Union, which provides an opportunity for cooperation between Croatian and Hungarian businesses. We hope that using the experiences and suggestions of the Interventures project, we can continue to support Croatian and Hungarian SMEs and give them the opportunity to enter the third market with help of the support. We are entering a period when simulating the economy is a fundamental goal, and with its help, Croatian-Hungarian economic relations can get a new impetus. In the current difficult economic situation, all help is needed so that Croatian and Hungarian SMEs can increase and exploit their economic potential, which will also have an impact on the development of the region's economy. We are at the beginning of the road, but we have already stepped on it. Today will be about the drawing of experiences and conclusions, for which I wish everyone good meeting and a successful conference. Finally, I would like to say thank you for your invitation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. And now, before I give the floor to Mr. Tamás Lung, who's an expert and who worked for us during the project, to introduce the project Interventures, he also prepared a presentation. I would like to highlight one thing. As Mr. President mentioned, the cooperation of the SMEs in the Croatian-Hungarian, let's say, border area is extremely difficult. At present, this border is a Schengen border. Hopefully, from next year, the situation will change and we will not have the Schengen border separating us, but it will not solve the problem. It would be very easy if we could say, or we could regard that if Croatia and Hungary will be, both countries will be inside the Schengen zone, then the situation will change. I think, and I may say that we think that the situation will not change. Why? Because we have to train. We have to train the SMEs. We have to show these SMEs in what manners and in what way they can contribute or they can join the different value chains, the different supply chains, and how they can learn from the best practices from other borderland regions in the European Union. What it means? It means that we have still a lot of work to do. And I think and I hope that in the future we will have the possibility to work together with you and to work together with the SMEs, to work together on this topic of internationalization of the SMEs, as the job and the task is extremely far from done, if I may say this. And now, let me give the floor to Mr. Tamás Lung, who will introduce the project Interventures in details for you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm afraid I don't have enough time to introduce the project in detail. We are towards the end of quite a long period, and I can tell you that we have quite a lot achieved. And my short presentation tries to summarize first the partners, the partnership, who we are, and then sort of insight into the achievement of the project, what we have achieved. And we took the liberty of drawing some conclusions, preliminary, evaluative type of conclusions, or maybe it's just the summary of experiences that we have gained from this project. So the partners first. The Pannon EGTC was the lead partner of that, of this undertaking. And by being the lead partner, I think we tried to somehow manage a quite diverse partnership. I will speak about this diversity later, but just to introduce the project partners first. The partners had to deal with, had to manage in the project a sort of policy instrument, an instrument which is under their responsibility, and with the resources gathered in the project, all the partners try to improve this policy instrument, to make it better based on the learnings coming from the partners, from the other partners. So it was quite a collaborative venture, and we, as a lead partner, tried to manage to make this learning process as smooth as possible. So just the partners themselves. We are the Pannon EGTC. We are a cross-border organization. I'm not speaking about in details. And the policy instrument that we tried to improve was or is the cross-border cooperation scheme for SMEs, which support the cooperation of small and medium-sized enterprises across the Hungarian-Croatian border. We have in the project a team from Spain, a team from Burgos, two entities, two organizations. One is the Society for the Development of the Province, and the other is the European Business and Innovation Center of Burgos, representing this region and brought in very rich experience, mainly regarding the development of internationalization in rural areas, which I think is extremely important for us, specifically here in the Transdanubia. And their policy instrument is a strategic plan of the province of Burgos. All the experiences they gained, they try to improve this strategic plan of the province of Burgos for the future. Further partners, it goes. Yeah. We had Klaipėda city from Lithuania. They're the municipality of Klaipėda and also the development agency of the city. And their mission is related to the development of the city itself. They represented a quite strong approach towards the innovation, towards the support of the startup companies, attracting and developing startup companies in their region. And the policy instrument they were developing with the help of the others, maybe with the help of us as well, the Klaipėda Economic Development Strategy and Action Plan. And we also had Poland, a couple of partners from Poland, Rzeszów Regional Development Agency and the Carpathian Euro region from Poland. Here with these partners, we have seen quite a strong cross-border relation. They are in a region where cross-border relations with the Ukraine and also with Slovakia are very, very important part of their economic life. And they are managing the regional development program in their region. So the policy instrument is the regional operational program. This is what they wanted to improve and develop new actions in this program. Sorry for that. I don't know. The fifth partner came from Italy. That's the region of Lombardy, and more specifically, the United Chamber of Commerce, Industry and Crafts and Trade and everything. In Italy, that's Union Camere Lombardia. Also with a strong mandate of developing inward investment attraction and also development of Lombardian companies and helping their internationalization, helping to be active abroad. And their policy instrument was the regional operational program. They're managing chunks of the regional operational program of Lombardy and using the money gained, or ERDF money mostly, for inward investment attraction and enterprise promotion. We shouldn't forget about our professional partner who gave professional advice throughout the whole program project implementation, and that's the Association of the European Border Regions, EIBR, the Association of European Border Regions. They provided very valuable quality control, internal advisory activities, and they helped a lot that the quality of the document, the quality of the products within the project became very, very good with their assistance. As I said in the beginning, the partnership we found was diverse, and of course diversity, as almost everything in life, has pros and cons, has advantages and disadvantages. What was the diversity? The most important dimensions of this diversity. The territorial coverage of these partners is very different. So we had Klaipėda, which is a city in Lithuania, and we have Lombardy, which is the richest Italian region. So two different dimensions, two different approaches, very, very different practices. We had very different territorial governance structures. We are here as an EGTC responsible for enhancing, developing cooperation between Hungary and Croatia, but no strong legal mandate regarding programming, regarding strategy building. Whereas, for instance, in Poland, regions have the role in programming. Regional actors have a saying in what the regional program is about. Again, I could bring in the Italian example, the very strong federalistic organization of the governance structures. So they are again, this diversity is quite big in the government structures domain. Also, the different role as institutions in the fund management. So some institutions like the Burgos Development Association, they have had the opportunity and are able to attract funding from private investors. They have dedicated funding decentralized to them by the central government, whereas other actors don't have in the program. City authority, Klaipėda, of course, has incomes private incomes from the city enterprises, from the citizens. Other institutions like the Pannon EGTC, we don't have this kind of, at least not in a big amount, this kind of incomes. And we were the only cross-border, the dedicated cross-border institution. So we had partners who were interested, more or less interested in cross-border cooperation. Maybe our Polish partners, maybe our Italian partners were involved in cross-border cooperation, but not such in a dedicated way than Pannon EGTC. So this, just a couple of dimensions of this diversity, which I said it has pros and cons. Maybe the cons is that, or disadvantages is that we were not able, none of the partners was able to just apply good practice in their own domains. So everything is different, then learning cannot be that simple. That's saying, okay, well, Italians have a very nice economic development program, and they are very, very active and very effective in attracting inward investment into Lombardy. So let's do the same, and we're going to solve the problem of the southern Transdanubia. So we were not able to do that, and none of the partners was able to do that. But on the other hand, this diversity might help to have or to get a little bit deeper understanding of the problems, the dynamics of this internationalization, the driving forces, the obstacles of the internationalization, which on the longer run might help us to take better decisions. So just it's a partnership, and I said it's a diverse and enthusiastic partnership I put on the slide, and I must say something about this enthusiasm. Enthusiasm was needed to survive as a project, to survive the COVID. So we did not have offline traditional study visits. Study visits look like we are sitting here. So we're sitting on a computer and virtually we're visiting Klaipeda innovative enterprises or Polish cross-border initiatives. And you all know that it's more difficult and less enjoyable than being on the spot. All the information exchange events, learning events took place online. We had a very professional assistance, but still, as I said, enthusiasm was, I think, a quite indispensable ingredient to get most of this project under these circumstances. And the same type of situation we had to face regionally. So imagine when everything is locked down and we tried to make a survey on internationalization with the SMEs. On their priority list is somewhere 100 and 200, whether they want to internationalize and think about what the obstacles are and think about what the potential benefits of an international presence could be when they don't have suppliers, where then they can't open the shops and things like that. So it was not easy, and that's what I said, why I think it's important to emphasize that this enthusiastic nature of partnership was needed to achieve something in the project. And what we have achieved, I think all of our partners, we still have a partner meeting this afternoon, but all of our partners were able to identify improvements, potential improvements on the policy instrument, what they have selected. Not all of them on the originally selected policy instrument, because there was some time discrepancy. So some policy instruments which were part of programs simply expired because new programming started, and they took these initiatives over to new programs. That's what we did as well. We tried to improve the policy instrument under the previous cross-border program, and we were able, very hopefully, we were able to influence the renewed policy instrument under the current cross-border program. All the regions which were participating in the program managed to produce a situation analysis with online surveys, and not only online, but mostly online surveys supported directly by data from enterprises. We had, as I said, knowledge exchange forum. We have developed policy recommendations, and we developed action plans, what to do, how to make this influence on the policy instrument. And I'm just reminding all the project partners, we had an appearance, we had a presence on the 19th European Week of the Regions and Cities last year in October. So we were able to make our project visible in this circle. The time seems to be over, so I'm just showing you this chart, which shows the influences of the partners on each other. The arrow shows where and who got inspired by the activity, by the practice of the others. So like Pannon EGTC gave inspirations to Podkarpatskie region and Klaipėda city, whereas Pannon EGTC got inspired by the Podkarpatskie, sorry, it's too long, Podkarpatskie region, and from the Burgos region to develop their policy instruments. And you see this graph shows that there were a lot of experiences exchanged among the partners. And very briefly, then the general experiences, what we have drawn is not an evaluation, but how we saw the general experiences of our project. The first is about this institutional setup. It's sort of commonplace, but still I think it's worth to mention the similar or flexible institutional setup and similar level of preparedness. It seems to be crucial for the effective adaptation of practices. So it's very difficult to adapt practices where the institutional structure is different. All of the partners reported that capacity building, even if it's not directed and focused on internationalization, but development of general business capacities of SMEs is crucial also from the point of view of internationalization. The other, this sort of double-faceted experience that we have to try to make project as simple as possible, especially when SMEs are not experienced and the institutional structure is not sophisticated and not experienced. Whereas, on the other hand, complex project, and the Italian example showed us, the complex, bigger project could be very effective, but it's clear that it has a precondition, it's a double precondition, that a stronger and experienced SME sector and the predictability of the support scheme. These are the two preconditions to that, if we want to make complicated, integrated actions. If not, if we do not have this kind of experience, neither on the side of the SMEs nor on the institutional structures, the main message of our project is to keep it as simple as possible and give as much technical assistance as possible. And then the last couple of them, awareness raising, we have a little bit shocking was that how companies are not aware of the possibilities, are not aware of the potential of becoming more international. So awareness raising can bring immense benefits once done. Reaching the SMEs, getting messages out to SMEs is quite time-consuming, have to be counted in every program, have to be taken into account how difficult and how resource-consuming is to really reach out to the SMEs in the region. We learned from Poland, actually, that a sectoral approach can be very useful in pilot cases. So when wanted to make an SME support to select a sector which is more promising and it can bring visible results at once. So we tried to make it, we failed anyway, but it's a good example. I still think that it's very, very interesting to start with a promising sector, draw conclusions, and then extend the scheme to other SMEs. And maybe the last conclusion, there is a lot to do in exploiting the potential of the cross-border cooperation. So we learned a lot, but actually we did not learn too much about the cross-border nature of SME cooperations. Maybe we were able to inspire others, but in order to develop further, I think we should keep learning by ourselves or developing new projects, because it's this potential which we believe exists in increasing the cooperation across the borders is far from being exploited. And this project was a little bit of step further, but the road is quite long ahead of us. Sorry for exceeding the time limit. I tried to make a short summary and became a medium-sized summary of that. Thank you.
Thank you, Tamás. Secretly, I launched a word cloud generator when Tamás started speaking. Secretly. Imagine which is the word with the largest letters and the largest font. It's enthusiasm. Believe me, it was enthusiasm. That's in the middle of the word cloud after this presentation. Thank you, Tamás. Let me give now the floor to Laurențiu David to introduce the state of play of the Interreg Europe program.
Yes. Okay, thanks a lot, Tamás, for this very clear overview of the project. I'm Laurențiu. I am your project officer. I was following your project almost since the beginning, together with this beautiful team on my right that made my job and my work once again very pleasant and rewarding. So thanks for the professionalism with which you led this project. Before starting to talk about the state of play, I would really like to congratulate this partnership and this project for making it through this very frustrating period, I would say. Very frustrating period. And it was not only that you did not have the possibility, as all other projects, to meet in person, because we know travel, meeting is in the DNA of this program, but you also approached topics as difficult as internationalization in a time when businesses were struggling with survival, with staying inside, with the doors closed. So this is not to be minimized. This is a reason for me, on behalf of the JS, to thank you and congratulate you for still making the project work. In the presentation that I will deliver today, I hope I will not need all the 20 minutes that are at my disposal. I will present you a bit where we are with the program. I will talk about the project and where it fits in the landscape of the projects that we financed in the period 2014-2020. And of course, I will talk a bit about the basket of goodies that we are preparing for you, for the project partners, meaning the new programming period, the call that we launch and we will soon finish assessing, and the next calls. And I believe this is the element that you may be the most interested in. So let me start by saying a few words of where we are with our program. You know very well, we had 4 calls. Intervention was approved in the 4th call. Once again, the unfortunate kind of projects that did not really have the chance to meet. We had a budget of 322 million euros invested in the projects approved. We have 258 projects. Some of them have been closed recently, some they are still ongoing, and some of them benefited from the package of measures that was launched when the pandemic hit us, meaning the fifth call, which was not really a call, was more like a possibility to extend some of the ongoing projects to also tackle the effects of the pandemic on the topics that they were dealing with. We have more than 2,000 partners involved in these projects, and our projects cover almost 90% of the European Union. A lot of figures on my slides as opposed to Tamas with a lot of words. I will not go through all of them. I would just focus on the raw material that you work with, not only your project, but all the projects. We have more than 5,000 good practices shared. We've been through a very painful process with all the projects in validating the action plans. This was very challenging on your side as projects to deliver good quality action plans, and also on our side to check them, to accompany you, to improve them. But we are very happy with the results. We've closed this process, and we have 1,244 such action plans approved, which hopefully will help you, will direct you, will guide you in achieving what we all desire, which is the policy changes. In terms of results, because before we were talking a bit about the numbers, the deliverables, in terms of results, we already have 925 policy changes approved, and we are always comparing the amount of funds that we invested in this project and the amount of funds better mobilized through the policy change that you achieved, and the leverage effect is almost 5, which for us is very rewarding, and it's there are figures that also the Commission who entrusted us this program appreciates. So let's see where we can frame intervention in the landscape of projects that we have approved. I told you we have 258 projects that were approved in the 4 calls that we launched. We have 66 projects focusing on SME competitiveness, which is the family that you are belonging to, but we have quite a similar amount of projects in all the other 3 topics that our program used to cover. This is environment and resource efficiency, low carbon economy, and research and innovation. In this family of SME competitiveness, we have 66 projects, and 9 of them were focusing on internationalization of SMEs. What is unique for the project that you are implementing is the fact that you are focusing on border areas, which is not something that we could find on the other projects that are dealing with the same topic. 4 out of the 13 good practices that you shared among you and uploaded on your project website were validated by our experts on SME competitiveness as being good practices with high potential of being replicated and highly inspirational, and they are featured in the policy learning platform Good Practice database. And we already have 1 policy instrument that was improved. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's the Polish partner that achieved this, and hopefully we will find more such policy improvements in the last progress report of the project. And now let's see a bit about the future, which is actually already the present, meaning the 21-27 programming period and the new Interreg Europe program. The name stayed the same, the logo is different, The budget is a bit higher. Before we had 322 millions, now we have 379, so more cookies for you. We have only one cross-cutting priority, so you are no longer obliged to fit in one of the 4 boxes that we had before. We have 29 countries involved as opposed to 30. Unfortunately, the UK left our program, which is a pity. Actually, I'm monitoring another very good project on internationalization, which was led by a UK partner. Well, finally, this was the political choice that they had. The objective of the program stays the same, to improve the regional development policies. We are still a program addressed mainly and primarily to policymakers. Of course, partners such as universities, chambers of commerce, even NGOs are still welcome to our program, but the accent on the policymaker is bigger this time. You will have the same means of achieving your objectives of improving policy, meaning you'll have the exchange of experience, the study visit, the peer reviews, the staff exchanges. You'll have what we call now innovative approaches. This is pilot actions, which I want to make a short parenthesis on pilot action for the ones that are not very used to what we finance as pilot actions. We do not have this concept developed as strong as in maybe cross-border programs where you have big investments. We just allow, through our pilot action, experimentation of policy solutions on a small scale. The average budget of pilot action in our program is between 70,000 and 100,000 euro. So just to experiment on a small scale if a financing program, a financing scheme could work. So this was possible in the past program, is possible now. The difference is that now if you want to apply for a project, you can already submit pilot actions at the beginning in the main application, while before you should have waited 1 or 2 years to build up the knowledge, the sharing of experience, and based on the inspiration, you could test a policy solution. So minor changes, there is an evolution, but not such a big revolution. And the evolution, as I told before, is in terms of topics, which means that now everything that is covered by the cohesion policy, you can build a project on. Still, we have a concentration principle, meaning that most of the funds will be allocated to the projects going under smart, green, and part of social. And of course, other topics such as connected Europe, Europe closer to citizens, you can still approach them, as well as governance. But when it comes to financing, priority will be given to the ones going under the 3 pillars that are highlighted in the presentation. The program will still have 2 actions. We'll have the project, the big bulk of the budget, and we have the policy learning platform, which is a project of our own, of the JS. It's a team of international experts that are supporting not only the project to for cross-fertilization among the results, for instance, of Interventure and another project, I don't know, SIE, because I was talking before about it. So you have these possibilities of having meetings with the other projects working on the same topic, and also access to the good practices, to a lot of help desk services that are provided by the policy learning platform. But the policy platform is not only for you, for the project, it's also to open the knowledge that you are generating in the project to the wider community, to the ones that are not involved in our projects. This is how the policy learning platform project is structured on knowledge. This is the good practices database, the policy brief, the articles, the story that our experts are compiling. We have the community of people, all the events that we facilitate so that you can get together. And you have the expert support, which are help desk services, and primarily is the peer review service, which is sort of a micro project. You can apply at any time. The application is 2 pages, and you can have not a study visit, but a discussion meeting on a specific topic for improving a specific policy. And you will apply, we will validate, and then our experts will bring a group of experts coming from the project or even from our side of our community. And for 2 days, you'll have the chance to exchange with these experts and find solutions to the problem that you are encountering at policy level. This is fully financed by Interreg Europe. You just need to present to us the request on 2 pages, and it's quite easy to apply and to get approved for such service. And now, the first call. We had, even before our program was approved by the Commission, when we had the green light from them that we can launch a call, we already launched a call. The first one was opened this spring. We closed it in the 31st of May, and these are a bit the figures that we got. We put on the table, if I remember correctly, 140 million euros as financing. We received projects for an amount of 192. We received 134 applications. Some may say it's too little compared to what we are used to, but we say it's better, it's more reasonable, especially since now we have a bigger requirement for having directly the policymakers involved in our project. The average amount of the proposal was 1.4 million, more than 1,000 partners. As expected, most of the projects were on smart, green and social, still some on the other topics. And I don't know if, I will keep it vague, let's say. Out of the 134, we had quite a number that failed eligibility. But for the ones that were eligible, the situation looks really, really good. So hopefully by under the Christmas tree, you'll receive the results of the first call, and we are very happy with the applications that we received. So the second call, when we will launch it. The dates are already set by our monitoring committee. The next call will be open 15 of March, 9 of June, almost 3 months compared to 2 months as in the first call. It was suggested to us that the call was a bit short, and the partners did not have the chance to really build the strong partnership. So now we said, okay, we give you 3 months, and we hope for at least the same number of projects. We are already starting promoting the second call. We are already starting to offer you opportunities for networking. We will have online networking events. These will be short events where we will present a bit the program, and we will give you online the possibility to already build a partnership. We will have the events as listed on the screen: smart, social, green, connected policy learning platform, starting from 15 November to the 5th of December. And I can already invite you and welcome you for the launch of the second call on the 15th of March in Stockholm, when we will have also our annual event, and we will have also the seminar for the lead partners that won projects on the first call. So you can already mark this on your calendars. And of course, we have several tools that are in place for checking your idea, for getting inspiration, for finding partners. And as soon as the call will open, we will also get involved deeper by providing you assistance in drafting your application, meaning that you will have the possibility of consulting with one policy officer your project idea, and we will guide you on what works and what is not working in your idea. And based on this, you will be able to further develop. Just keep in mind, you will have just one shot for a discussion with us, because we really want to serve all the projects. And with 9 seconds left, I thank you for your attention. And yeah, feel free to assault me today with questions and yeah, with everything. Thanks.
Thank you for your presentation, David. Your time management, I think, is... You set the standard for time management considering all conferences. And now, our next presentation is... the title is Internationalization of SMEs in the Hungarian-Croatian CBC program, B Light Plus program. And the introduction will be made by György Márton, the Managing Director of the Lockframe Consulting Office, who's an expert of regional development.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to also welcome you and thank for the invitation for the organizers. Up to this moment, you've heard a lot of words about the program and the projects as such. Now, I would like to show a bit closer light on one policy instrument which was highlighted by Pannon EGTC in this project, which was actually the policy instrument which under this intervention project Pannon EGTC has targeted. This is the B-Light program. Let me give you some background words how we could launch this in the Hungary-Croatia program. I don't know whether Mr. Martin Spargaren is already here online, but I would like to say some knowledgeable words to him and also to Marton Szűcs, who is sitting here in front of me from the JS of Hungary-Croatia program. It was in 2012 or 13, Marci, I don't know, around that time when we were taking part, I myself was taking part as key expert in the programming of the Hungary-Croatia Interreg program 2014-20. And at the time, it came out quite logically also from the situation analysis and from various consultations that we have to target somehow the SMEs and to have to foster, even through the CBC program, the cooperation, building of cooperation of SMEs. And I read an Interact, and good word for the Interact as well. I read an Interact article where I found very good experience from different countries on this, especially for SCBC, from Martin and from this Dutch-German border area where we are working. They had a PP Light program. They called it PP Light. And on this basis, on their experience, we began to launch this and to insert it into our CBC program. And now under interventions, Pannon EGTC also targeted to see what we can improve on that. And also it helps us in a way that for the next programming period, Pannon EGTC is taking part as a coordinator in the programming of the 2021-27 CBC program, and we also, my company is in the consortium, taking part as an expert of the programming. That's why I'm here, or I guess that's why I was invited to hold this presentation. And consequently, I would like to focus my presentation on the lessons learned from this B-Light program. So we don't call it PP-Light like Martin's program, but B-Light. And in the last a couple of slides, I would like to also reflect on how we would like to continue it on. So we do think that it's worth to be continued. For some of you, like Andrea or Marci, this first, let's say, 2/3 of these slides are already familiar because apart from the programming of the next CBC, so 21-27, Hungary, Croatia, we also made a parallel assessment of the different goals and of the different priorities and of the whole program itself. And these couple of slides about the lessons are coming from this assessment, what we did. There were 4 calls in this B-Light program, which directly was focusing on the fostering the cooperation of SMEs on the different sides of the border, Hungary-Croatian border. And one of the good examples you will hear about from Mr. Ferenc Fedor, my great friend who is coming after me with his presentation. He will show you one very good example what our project looked like, our B-Light project looked like in this program, because we call under the umbrella of the B-Light program, the Light project or the B-Lights are those projects, sub-projects which are targeting, which are composed of the SMEs of Hungarian and Croatian side. There were 4 calls. We organized it in 4 open calls. Where we received application of the SMEs. First they were 2-step calls, but then we continued on with 1-step call. And you can see we analyzed actually the first 3 calls of these 4 call B-Light program. So you can see the experience of the first 3 calls here in the slides. And you can see the number of the projects which were supported were 22 out of 126. So I think the over demand was there. And we could see really that, especially in the 3rd and in the 4th call, that there is a great demand from the SMEs. Even though in the first calls we suffered a rather big delay with the setup of the whole system. We all know it also, the JS colleagues know that it was a real suffering period because we launched the call and maybe even more than 1 year passed till the contracts will be able to be made with the SMEs. But then I think it went more and more smoothly, because of course it was quite new for the Hungary-Croatia program. Never before the program in the past programming periods supported SMEs. So this was the first time when the SMEs came in as beneficiaries. And you can see just first lessons that in Croatian side, the border side countries, I will show you much clearer picture and also map on that. The county is more active because on the border side there are 4 counties in Croatia on the border side which are part of the programming area, and 4 others formerly adjacent, we called counties a bit far. And let's say it was also natural that the border side countries were more active. And also we could see that the counties with the biggest population and the biggest cities were more active. And the main indicators which you see, there was a result indicator. Of course, this small program cannot so much influence the big numbers, I mean the statistical numbers, but anyhow, we could be able to see a kind of increase in both of the countries' GDP per gross value added per capita. Maybe from this slide, what could be important is that how could we, or how we selected a proper result indicator, even though this result indicator cannot even be named as the smart indicator, because a lot of other things are influencing it. It's just a minor part how the CBC program can influence it, but we focused on much more on the value added, not on the GDP, but on the value added of the industrial service sectors, because the industry and service different sectors were targeted by the B-Light, but not the agriculture, mainly because it was financed by ERDF. And you can see the output indicators, and after the first 3 calls, the numbers, how we could achieve it. The receiving any kind of supports, the number of enterprises which received any kind of supports were around 400, much higher than when you see in the brackets the minimum which we took on. These were those companies which registered themselves, because there was an open registration in the portal for consultation, and you can see that there were 128 companies who received the non-financial support, and they also were submitting their proposal for the first round of the call. And there was also a project support facility which tried to support their project preparation. We don't have so much good experience on that, I have to tell you. So we have to we need to change, and we are thinking about changing this system. But I will tell some words in the last slide about this. That could be named as the biggest challenge for us: how to invite the companies, how to make them aware of this of the program and its possibilities. And the number of enterprises who really received grants and received the support for the projects, for common projects, mainly innovative projects, because focus mainly on innovation, were 46. Although it's lower than what we took on, but there was the 4th round of call where around 20-25 SMEs still were supported, so we nearly reached what we took on in this program. Some slides about the approach which came out of this assessment. I will just try to be a bit quick. Briefly, I can say that we analyzed the approach and the opinion of the different stakeholders, different beneficiaries of the past program in different priorities, and we asked the beneficiaries about their opinion, how the program impacted had impact on their overall status. And we can see that concerning this SME program, well, we can say that the beneficiaries, the SMEs, were more optimistic than other beneficiaries. And you can see that from different angle points, they saw that program somehow served their needs. But Ferenc will tell you much more about that, what he thinks about that in concrete terms. And when we go a bit closer on the orientation of these projects, I mean the B-Light project, the project of cooperating SMEs, you can see that mostly the internationalization and the cooperation, and also the marketability and the increased value added were those focuses which were very much in focus. And that's why we think that mainly from the point of view that on one hand the projects, and that was also a requirement from the calls, of course, were focusing, the B-Light project focusing on innovation, new product and service development, but also there was a high need for going to the market, to the open market, to each other's market, and to third markets, to export activities, and both were quite very important in this project. I will tell you some more words about that in my later slides, and also that's these two focuses gives us a conclusion for us that maybe a kind of change should be needed also in the project, in the program's future focuses and priorities. You can see the territorial distribution of the partnerships. That's what I was already referring to. And it is also can be seen as a natural thing, but also can be seen as a challenge that around, let's say, half of the projects were coming from those two counties, Guaranya and Osjecko-Baranjska-Županija, which have the most amount of population and the biggest cities, Pécs and Osijek. It's quite natural that the SME activity is also mainly there, but we should see the challenge that, for example, from Somogy County or from Virovitica, there were only a few projects, and we have to do something with that, especially they were connected to one or two cities, and for example, Kaposvár was, which is the biggest city and the capital of Somogy County, was totally inactive. So we have to do something with that, how to urge them, how to make them participating in this SME cooperation. And you can see this map much more closely going on to the let's say municipality level. You can see that Pécs and Osijek, which I also mentioned, Pécs and Čakovec. Čakovec is located on the western part of Croatia, a bit more developed, closer to Zagreb, and that's why between Pécs and Čakovec there were also good SME connections. It also true for Pécs and Varaždin, and Nagykanizsa and Virovitica were those who still were showing some activity, but you can see the lack of other cities. Also, it's true for some Croatian ones, but as I mentioned, like in Kaposvár, also true for Somogy. And the sectoral distribution, you can see that for the applied projects and also for the supported projects, what were the focus of the different projects and the different SMEs that were taking part in that. First, it shows the number of SMEs which were taking part in the different projects, and you can see that for the applied projects there were a lot of let's say business consultancy projects apart from the industrial projects, but for the supported ones, because it was mainly focusing on innovation, the different mainly industrial sectors like wood industry and manufacturing, they were taking part as and also R&D like Ferry's project was mainly on the focus because they could show up good innovation background and potential. And in the assessment, apart from seeing the evaluations of different projects, we made a kind of, let's say, classification of the projects on our own. It was just, of course, somehow subjective, but we tried to see and try to classify the submitted and the supported projects in terms of whether they were more like innovative or sales-oriented projects, because as I referred to some minutes ago, we clearly seen that the focus is twofold in this project, and we try to make a kind of weighting or scoring of the projects in terms of these factors, either for innovation and also for sales. And we try to characterize the projects, whether they can fall into much more an innovative project or can be named as a sales project. And we define these projects as could be a much more joint innovation project, or this you can see the definition, how we see that a joint innovation project look like, because it's based on real joint innovative efforts, and the project couldn't be done by each other's active presence and cooperation. And the business cooperation type of projects, we see that it's much more lacking of innovation, but much more focusing on business cooperation and on sales. And we try to assess on the basis of this classification, again saying it's a kind of subjective classification, that how the projects look like for the applied projects and for the constructed projects. We see that according to this classification, we see that there were a lot of projects submitted that could be named as much more sales-oriented ones. Sorry, but I cannot so much see the monitor. Okay, yeah, okay. Here, okay. And for the contracted project, okay, for the recording, for the contracted project, we see that much more they were so around half or a bit more amount of projects, or a bigger proportion were falling to innovative ones. What it shows for us, maybe it's a kind of, again, subjective assumption, that there's a clear need for sales-oriented projects, for those projects which aim to, let's say, market their products or services at international level, and not so much focusing on innovation. And but because of the calls, because of the B-Light much more focused on innovative projects and scored higher those projects which were showing up innovation. That's why they were, let's say, underscored. This kind of sales-oriented projects were underscored. And that gives us maybe a kind of improvement or further rethinking of how the B-Light should be look like in the next programming period. That's why I admitted that we would like to continue on with the next programming period. And you can see also some characteristic about the projects in terms of applied and contracted, and in terms of whether they can be named as innovative or business cooperative projects. You can see that there's a higher annual turnover in terms of business cooperation, but there is no so much change in terms of, or difference, sorry, in terms of the age of the companies or the number of the staff. So it's not so much can be characterized. They are more or less in terms of size. The SMEs are the same. Maybe the annual turnover is a bit higher for the business cooperative types of projects, but because of the scoring system which we had in the present B-Light, of course the sales projects were a bit more underscored. And you can see the budgetary breakdown. We also analyze this quite going into deep, how the different type of project, innovative or business type of projects, budget composition look like. And although it's quite an administrative issue, but it's also very important what we would like to support or how we would like to support. We should support these different types of projects. And you could see a clear difference that for the innovative project, more hard investment is needed. So there's a need for purchase of equipment or even for works activities. And for business cooperation project, more external expertise need were shown up, mainly for marketing. So it shows us a kind of hint, or gives us a kind of hunch or hint for how to differentiate, if it's possible, in the future program, the different project components. And these were, as an assumption of this present B-Light, these are those dilemmas or questions which we raised, that first of all, should we only focus on SMEs? Should we only target SMEs, or should we also invite some kind of research oriented on business support organization, even as beneficiaries? Still, this question is so much decided because we are before launching the next B-Light, the B-Light 2 or B-Light Plus. But there's a question especially for innovation projects, innovative projects, whether the SMEs need some kind of support, for example, from a university. But we would, on the other hand, we wouldn't like to shift the focus from the SMEs, because the SMEs need this money and need this cooperation, fostering of cooperation by the B-Light. And the other question is that what kind of, or is there a need, and what kind of need is there for SME project generation, and how we can do it. Maybe as I already referred to, That is one of the biggest questions of the future Be Light. And all these, like this Interreg Europe project, could help us in finding out, on the basis of very good international examples, how the others are doing. Like I know that Martin and his staff in their Euroregio did several steps of supporting scheme, which were not only supporting, let's say, direct investment, but first they supported the project generation, a feasibility study, and in the inviting of research institute like universities. I remember the program. They try to make a kind of staggering way of fostering the cooperation. Of course, our Hungary-Croatian board is totally different. We don't speak about nanotech. It's quite a difference lagging behind the area. We also have to take into account. But on the other hand, it's not only the hard investment which is needed. We all know that the concrete, I mean, when you build up something is one thing, but the brain is the other thing. And that's why we have to think it really, really over and consider this issue. And last but not least, the possible breakdown of components, which I referred to many times in my presentation. Should we do it in a way that two components should be launched in the next, the Be Light 2, with focusing on one hand on joint innovation and also on business cooperation? And what could be the differences? You can see, I would like to read it out, of focusing on innovation. I have to say that also in the mainstream program, it also gives us good view, although it's not CBC. We all know that also the Brussels Commission differentiates the innovation from the business support and from a direct investment to companies. So, and also there are different priorities in the economic development operational program for innovation and for capitalization of SMEs. So maybe a same kind of logic could be used here. And here is the next Hungary-Croatia Interreg program are proposed. Still, it's way before accepting it, unfortunately, but the proposed priority structure. And as you see, we would like to continue on with the Be Light. There were some dilemmas, also referring to these dilemmas with the innovation and business cooperation, whether we should link this program to an innovation focus, SO specific objective 1.1 or 1.3. Then the conclusion was made that 1.3 is good, and also within that we can even focus somehow on the innovation as well. And the proposed changes, that's I think my last slide, the proposed changes in the new scheme could be that there could be two components. These are just proposals, are not legitimate for the new Be Light, the Be Light 2, the business cooperation of SMEs, and also for the joint innovation, mainly that we should be able to support also business cooperation apart from high-level innovation. And as a Be Light is a kind of scheme which is a project in itself within the CBC, but within that the light partners, I mean the SMEs, come in and go out. That's what was quite appealing for me when I read this Interact articles several years ago. It still would be the same, and that's the proposal, coordinated by Hamag Bikro. Still, it should be again decided, but there should be a coordinative role of National SME Development Organization, and county-level institution could be involved from the 7 counties in the border area for promotion, project generation, and partner research. This is the point in which we have to make improvements, because being a county a part of this program for project generation still means, sorry about saying, but nothing. But they have to be active. They have to reach the SMEs, and that's the big question. One-step or two-step application, still it also has to be decided. One step is more, simpler, but on the other hand, my time is over, sorry. But the two-step could be also good, that for the first step, there is no need for a detailed development of the project, and external assessors would be involved as evaluators. And these are the indicators. I wouldn't like to bother you about that. About the same amount of money, around 10 million, would be allocated for the new B-Light, the B-Light 2. And with the indicators, with the thresholds, you can see in this presentation, around the same amount, bit less, but same amount of SMEs we would like to reach. And the call will be opened next year after finally our Hungary-Croatia program will be approved and submitted and approved by the Commission. So that's it. Thank you very much. Sorry for this half a minute excessing of my time. If you have questions, then I'm here. Thank you.
Thank you, Gyuri, if I may call you, Gyuri. I was asked to be the host and the moderator of this event, and it's really difficult to say anything after a presentation like this. We could see so many details. We could see the results of a huge work. Really, what I can say is that we could spend days with the analysis of the results and with the analysis of the facts and figures that were introduced by György in his presentation. And it's difficult, and it's not my role, but I have to make a comment. I think that this presentation and the result of this work should be heard and should be seen on the national level policy-making politicians, so to say, if you want to get results in the next programming period. We can see the challenges, and from these challenges, it's clearly visible, I think, that an awful lot of work is needed in order to foster the cooperation between the SMEs in this neighborhood area, in the Croatian-Hungarian borderline area. And I hope that we can work together on that in the next 7 years and in the next programming periods, together with the company and together with György Márton. Once again, thank you for your presentation. And before the coffee break, I would like to ask Dr. Ferenc Fedor, the Managing Director of Geochem Limited Company, to introduce a success story in the framework of the program that was introduced in general by György Márton. Ferenc, the floor is yours.
So, ladies and gentlemen, first I would like to thank organizers for invitation. It was a big surprise for me, and I would like to introduce you a real success story, which called Development of Universal High Pressure Parameter Fitting to the Smart Lab Concept. I wouldn't like to tell you so much on framework, because you know very well the framework. It was about a 300,000 euro cost and about 70% support. And first of all, I would like to introduce the participants. The Geochem is a small enterprise, was established in 2003 and changed to limited to 2006. And the headquarters is in Kozármesdlény, near Pécs, and branch, where we have a laboratory is in Kővágószőlős, another side of Pécs. So the main activity of Geochem is research and development, concentrating some spatial question of geology, like complex laboratory investigation on different materials like tight rocks and consolidated rocks, not the traditional geological questions. And we have some special instruments, equipments, and methodological development like Smart Lab. Certainly, we have a quality management and environmental management system. And it's very important that we can answer questions from the applied geology. So you are interested in how we can produce something from a rock, or how we can keep inside something in the rock, in this case, for example, high-level radioactive waste, we can answer. But for answers, we have to develop from time to time. So every year we have 2-3 innovation, which we try to sell in the market. Also, we are a member of different councils, associations, like Cluster of Applied Earth Sciences, also a European organization, Geoenergy Europe Meta Cluster, which covered the full supply chain of geothermy. And we are participating in EGTP, which is a radioactive waste management platform. And we are a member of Chamber and Industry of Pécs Baranya. In the laboratory, we are concentrating on different measurements, high-tech measurements. The main area of the interest is reservoir qualification and pore structure investigation, and the other area is drilling and stimulation properties investigation, with a joint operation with the HU-HR, a big company. So the half of the instruments we designed, and they are special instruments, special devices for answer special questions. We have some products, methods, and software developments, like cryodesiccation, so methodology, how we can win some water from very tight rocks. We are working on a new project by the support of Hungarian government. It's a multi-frequent electric impedance soft tomograph. We have some products like artificial cores, and the main activity is the development of smart lab, which I will introduce you later. Also, 2 legs is not enough, so research and development and other hand measurements in laboratory is not enough. We have to sell something. We have to think how we can grow new legs. So we have some sales and service activities also. Our partner was Croatian Gazella. First time it was a Tensor, but later it changed the name, and Orca was the partner who finished this project. You can see the growing up of that company, so it's very fast and very good improvement of the activity. And here you can see the core business of that company: development of hardware solution for immersive low latency remote video transmission solutions, first person view, and remote reality tools. They have more than 50 R&D engineers and manufacturing employees. They have a prototyping laboratory, some optical engineering laboratory, and they are good at PCB design, mechanical engineering, field programmable gate array, and also they have some software development activity. How we can meet and how we can begin this project. So a relatively old high-tech and a new Gazelle high-tech company meet. And why? because we need something as a ID owner, we need something from the Croatian partner to develop the Smart Lab. The Smart Lab is a special laboratory which you can move anywhere in the world. Only a technician need for handle the equipments, not high-tech or high-level educated people. It's a automated laboratory and environmental friendly laboratory. We wouldn't like to use any chemicals there. And the raw data immediately in the cloud going to the after the measurements to the laboratory where we have a Smart Lab platform. We can give permission for international experts to interpret the results. We can immediately send the result by email to the customers, to our clients, and they can pay by for example, PayPal or other system. This is the concept. In the right side of this slide, you can see the process of the research activity of oil exploration and raw material exploration. With pale orange, I show the Smart Lab covered area of this activity. The early stages of this development was the acoustic or ultrasonic wave velocity test system, which is a product now. You can find in our homepage. And it was the first instrument which incorporated in this smart reservoir laboratory system. It's characterized by autonomous operation, automated data collection, transmission, and we store the data in the cloud database, which is secure and accessible for experts. And the experience of this development we used in the development of the new tool, the new permeameter. The main technical features of this permeameter we can measure by liquids or gases. As you can see, we can cover more than 12 order of magnitude range of permeability. The maximum confining pressure is 1000 bar, maximum pore pressure is 100 bar, and we can use 150 degrees Celsius for measurements. Why it's important? Because we can simulate the circumstances which you can find underground in the reservoirs. And as you can see, we can measure different permeabilities, pressure valve, steady state, and PPD water and gas permeabilities. We can measure helium gas porosity. Also, this equipment will be applied for core flooding test, and we would like to build in the acoustic velocity measurements also. Here you can see the activities of Geochem and Orca in the project. The activities more or less same. So we have system design. We designed the equipment, the functions. Orca designed the electronics and the PLC. We developed hardware. Orca developed the electronic parts of this equipment. We tested the measurements and the functions. Orca tested the PLC, which responsible for the valve working. And also we have project administration and management. the geochem was the project leader, and we had a chief engine of research and development dedicated for this task. And we have product developers, engineers, software developers. Also, we were responsible for marketing and sales. And we had some subcontractor mainly for mechanical engineering work. In the right side, you can see the ORCA's feature of schematic feature of electrical development, and the left side you can see the geochem's role. Practically developed the working of this equipment, the process. So in the left side you can see the equipment now. Right side you can see the electric part and the PLC connecting to this project. There were many different unique design components for spatial requirements, like high pressure precision laboratory pump, 1000 bar pump, which can move in micron level, so we can change the pressure in 100 bar, not more. We developed zero dead volume valves. Some experiment is successful, some experiment is not too much. So we had to redesign and reproduce these valves because some problems, but this was a research and development project. So in this case, we can take mistakes, so sometimes we can change. Also, we have a precision back pressure regulator and a custom design frame and thermostat unit. Before the next slide, some words on the future. So this cooperation with a Croatian partner was, I think, a very good example for the good cooperation. And we, on the basis of this development, open to the world. Now we would like to open laboratories in Chile, in Kenya, and in far east, maybe China. So we are working on these projects. We try to find investors now. And we need our Croatian partner not only for make a similar work, do the similar work than here to make some electric parts, but also we would like to automate the teaching activity and the service activity. So we would like to, in the next part of this project, we would like to develop an VR equipment for teaching of the use of this equipment. And we are working on develop the augmented reality tool for service activity. So we are waiting for the next phase of this project very much. Okay. Some suggestion, proposal, ask for the authorities. I think very important the digitalization. We wouldn't like to cut forest because of the project. So we would like to use the HTML-based surface for introduce the project, for show the results, and wouldn't like to print documentation because I think the digitalization, environmental friendly, fast, and less CO2 footprint give, I think. So the next is intellectual properties. Sometimes the authorities want to give them all the documentation, but the prototypes, system documentation is an intellectual property. We wouldn't like to give this. Why? Because this is a business. We would like to sell either properties or the prototype, not a prototype, but later the product. So in this case, this rule infringes these rights. Our proposal that the prototype product solution, including know-how also, protected by EPRs, should be made available for inspection and verification by the managing or coordinator authority, the company's branch headquarters, and the inspector should sign a declaration of completion of the product prototype. The intellectual property rights shouldn't be transferred to the authorities because it's not the best way to evaluate the project. Next, asset or part. It's an accounting question. So when we built a prototype, we sometimes build some devices into the prototype, which is a loan asset. But when we built in the prototype, it will be a part of the prototype. So in this case, our accountant give this device to the parts, to the material costs. And in this case, there are two main types of cost for prototyping. One is the material cost, and the other one is the labor cost. In addition, some R&D services may be required. In the past, applications have been rejected because the cost of materials was too high. However, in this case, we wouldn't like to buy services. We would like to make a prototype alone. So the proposal that the decision shouldn't be influenced by the cost of materials. During the audit process, the company must prove that the assets purchased were applicable material cost or parts. So we can show you during the inspection, okay, it's not a device alone used for this prototype. And last but not least, the prepayment. The world is changing fast and credit is very expensive. And companies need some prepayment from the authorities to avoid paying huge interest rate. No, the interest is more than 17%. It's a huge amount of money every month. More than 1,000 euro. We would like to avoid this, and the proposal is the similar prepayment like other European Union projects. So, thank you very much for your kind attention.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Well, actually, it was something like a science fiction movie for me at the beginning. Then I checked some of the terms on my phone, what they actually mean, and now I understand the topic. But I would like to highlight one thing, going back to this science fiction thing that I've told you or mentioned you, that imagine that a small company, an SME company, specializing on geotechnology, is working in Pécs, Baranya, that is this part of Hungary, cooperating in a research and development project with another SME in Osijek, Baranya County in Croatia, in this field, with this technology, with this knowledge. I can say that we can be very proud and very happy that we have companies and knowledge like this that was introduced to us by Ferenc Fedor. Once again, thank you very much for your presentation. We are a little bit late considering our schedule, but don't worry, we will have the 15-minute coffee break that's coming now, and it implies that we would like to continue at 20 past noon. 20? 15 or 20 past noon, it was said, it's 20 past noon. Enjoy the break and thank you for your attention so far.
Brilliant.
So welcome back, everyone, in the second half of our small conference. As far as I've learned, Martin, our next presenter, is already online, so ready to share his experiences, what he has gained working in the Netherlands, Germany border area. And I think it's important to know before we listen to the presentation that Martin and the project he was involved with served quite an important source of inspiration for the activities which we were talking about now, the so-called Be-Light scheme, the cooperation scheme between Croatian and Hungarian enterprises. So he was the one who saw also the beginning of our efforts to do something which helps the SMEs in the region. The presentation is SME cooperation in the German Netherlands CBC program and the impact of the new EU regulation. Well, let's listen to what Martin has to say.
Thank you for your introduction. I hope you can hear me. And I hope you have a nice coffee break. I'm very happy to join you here digitally at the final conference of the Interventures project to talk about our experiences with SME cooperation and internationalization in the Dutch-German border region. Well, I'm Martijn Spaargaren. I'm born in the Netherlands, living in Germany for quite a while now. And I've been working for Interreg for over 10 years. First at the Joint Secretariat and now at the Euro-region Rhine-Maas Nord. And as you can see on the slide, the Euro-region based in Mönchengladbach has several tasks. And of course, we want to reduce border obstacles. This is really an issue in our region as we have quite a lot of cross-border commuters, cross-border families, which I'm one of, cross-border tourism, and we try to make a kind of identity out of this border region, getting people to see the advantages of living close to the border. Especially during the Corona crisis, we were also often the platform to lobby at the national governments for the interest of the border residents and the cross-border commuters. We were one of the few borders that were not completely closed during the pandemic, but the crisis still had a big impact on the cooperation. You will have experienced this in the same way, not only in a practical sense, but also in the people's minds. And our Euro region was very involved in, for example, a cross-border Corona task force, which was very positive, but it has had a large impact. We're sometimes ourselves initiator of cross-border projects, national or European programs. And I myself, I'm working now at the program management for the CBC program Interreg Germany Netherlands, which means that I'm responsible for all projects and all topics, helping in the search for suitable partners in the implementation phase, also with the practical things like reporting and compliance with eligibility criteria, and in the contact with the program partners and the co-financers. And last but not least, at the task of the Euro region, we have a border information point where commuters can contact us with questions about taxes, social security, pensions, and cross-border issues. And this slide shows again the variety of topics we have to deal with. Is it the pandemic? Is it language learning, tourism, structural changes in the region? For example, the end of the lignite coal production in Germany, and it has a huge effect on the region. And it is a very interesting region. It is very small. On the one hand, it's the most densely populated EU region in the German-Dutch border area, with almost 2 million inhabitants. But you can cross the whole area in 1 hour by car. There are big cities like Düsseldorf, Venlo, Krefeld, and on the other hand, we have rural communities where tourism and demographic issues are central topics. And today I'm mainly talking about the Interreg Germany-Netherlands program. You can see the whole program area here. It's a large area, almost half of the Netherlands and big parts of the German counties, Lower Saxony and North Rhine-Westphalia. And our managing authority is located in Düsseldorf at the Ministry of Economic Affairs in North Rhine-Westphalia, but they delegated their tasks to the Euro regions when it comes to program management and project monitoring. We do it together with 4 Euro regions, and I'm working at the most southern part of the program region. So you know where we are located. And here you see for the new Interreg funding phase, our program objectives. We are well positioned financially. You see it a total ERDF of 225 million euros. And in this figure, you can also see the focus of our program on the first priority, more competitive and smarter Europe. It's about innovation, and it's about companies, about SMEs, because they have to drive the innovations. The other priorities are also important, but not financially that important. It's not entirely new, this focus on companies. It started in the 2000s and evolved since then. And it's and here you see the development of this SME participation in our Interreg program. We had first experiences in the 2000-2006 period, but it quickly became apparent that the administrative hurdles for companies to participate in an Interreg consortium, they are relatively high. So that's when this PP Light idea came up. It was simply an agreement between the funding partners that parts of projects could remain open at the time of application, and it could later be filled with SME partners. It was not called PP Light by then, it was just this agreement. So we started with that in 2007, and the administrative hurdles were still relatively high for the companies. And it was not until Interreg 5, also in 2014, that so much could be simplified that funding became really attractive for companies. And as a result of that, we had several open projects, several applications for open projects of PP Light schemes, all with different lead partners and all emerged from bottom up. So it was not a conscious decision of the program to set up this instrument, but it was due to the initiative of intermediary organizations like business development organizations that this instrument, that this project existed. And we had some of them, and I think that sometimes we had like 10 instruments at the same time. We saw that these schemes, this project worked well, and within the framework of the Interreg Europe project, KISME, we compared them with other regions at the European level. And I think the project was kind of, you can compare it to the interventions project you did. And in this way, we had also the contact to the Croatian-Hungarian border region. And I will tell some words about the KISME project later on. In the meantime, the EU Commission also waking up, and I've seen these schemes and these ideas as they are like the experiences at our program, but also at several other Interreg programs in Europe. And if this is the case, then always such an instrument has to be formalized by the EU Commission. And that's not that easy at this moment. I could come to that later as well. First, let me give you an example about how a concrete projects in this PP Light scheme works. I took the example of the DigiPro project, was also one of the largest. Normally we have a consortium with regional development agencies and other institutes like university institutes or other knowledge transfer with companies, institutes, and they all have their regional networks. They all know the companies in their area or in their thematic area or in the regional area. And some of these consortia, they have a regional, a thematic concentration, like all in the field of energy or bioeconomy or something like this, or tourism. And in such a project, in such a consortium, there is a closed part where the management and organization, the networking, but also the acquisition of these open parts are located. And there is an open project part, which is not known at the beginning of the project. There is where the SME projects come in. It could be like 5 or 6 projects in total, but it could also be 100 open SME projects. And that is first. To select these smaller projects, there's a jury of most of the time is experts on the thematic issues or program representatives. And all the SME cooperation, it takes part in this open project part. Companies can apply for different forms of project within the framework of the scheme, mostly starting on a low level, starting with the first module. This is just a talk with the project representatives about what is possible in cooperation, what do you want to do, is it new? And if this is promising, you can switch into the next modules where the companies can develop their own concepts or finance a feasibility study. I don't know if you can read it, it's in German. But there, and the last phase, the companies can build a prototype or a process change model, and it could be up to 120,000 euros of total costs with a 40% subsidy. These modules or these rates, they differ from project to project, but it's kind of the regular scheme. It has always to be a cooperation between 2 companies across the border, one from Germany, one from the Netherlands, of course. That's the most important criterion. And this project has worked well. I don't know if you can read all this, but despite the competition with a lot of other open projects, it can be seen here that a total of 360 companies were supported in the 2014-2020 period. Finally, 62 projects were carried out in the last module, also in the really product development module, providing a nice distribution. You see it on the map from companies across the whole program area. Main part of the project took place in the ICT and the sensor technology sector, and there were a lot of other sectors as well, like micro, nano, electronic, and artificial intelligence. I have to say that we have a lot of university, a lot of startups in our region, and it makes it easier to have these university-based startups to start projects like these. Some examples. First one is a company can analyze the movement of horses in the equestrian sport with sensors and improve these movements or this how to move with a horse based on video analysis, so that the equestrian sport becomes more animal friendly and injuries can be prevented. It was a nice example. The second is about a concept study where new employees of the company can get to know the production processes with an augmented reality system. And this example with the current energy prices in our region, in the energy crisis, is very practical. It was about smart meters, where houses themselves, they learn how to control the energy consumption in the house of their occupants. For example, they know when the hot water for the shower is needed, and they know when the people are not at home and when there's no energy to be provided. Then some word about the KISME project. As I said, that was an exchange of experience in different regions in Europe. You see on the picture a visit in Varasdin. It's near your place. We had a partnership with Hamag Bikro and with the Swedish Norway regions and with French and Spanish border regions. And for every region, there was an action plan that you have made as well. And here you see the most important points of the action plan in our region. And well, we must honestly admit that the results of the KISME project were not the decisive factors in the design of the new Interreg program by the ministries and the provinces and the EU regions. But some points were taken over. Sustainability was included as a strong criterion, not directly as a result of the KISME project, but this was included in the program now. And nevertheless, we have learned a few things about SME cooperation in Europe. Even it's only that we are very well equipped for this kind of projects because we have many companies, startups, university in our region. But we also saw that in other regions with the same experiences they made with the funding programs, and they are at the same level. It's not that we have this top position which we had quite a years ago, but we only have this well equipment for this SME projects. Yeah, back to the funding phase, our new 2021-2027. Our Interreg program was approved in April this year. First project will hopefully be approved soon. But the question is still how we should go on with this PP Light schemes and with these open projects. And it was a long discussion because the new EU regulations did not allow us to continue just as before. Because we have this small project funds now, that's the first possibility. I don't know if you are, I think you are into these regulations as well. They have seen the possibilities of a small project funds, but there can only be one beneficiary at a time. So it's not longer possible to be a consortium and be a small project funds at the same time. It's also possible to continue as before with an open project or a PP Light scheme, but it's not longer possible to have the project decided by an expert jury. All the projects, all the sub-project must be decided by the monitoring committee or the steering committee. And that's a big change when you compare it to before. Finally, the program partners, they also wanted to harmonize different schemes because that was an issue in Interreg 5 that we have this lot of PP Light schemes with all their different schemes and project possibilities, conditions, and that was not really ideal for a company that you have to choose between several instruments. So the harmonization was wanted. And as it looks like now, we will get one large small project funds for SME projects. And besides that, it is planned that a closed or a semi-open consortium will be formed as a separate project where the intermediaries, these intermediary organizations or these business development organizations, which play an important role in this kind of projects, they can participate there and maintain their networks, their acquisition activities. So that's how it looks like now, and maybe there will be partly open projects, even more like thematic concentrated projects. The project selection has to be by the monitoring committee. We will see it in the next years. At the last point is the 16 small project funds. It's a bit stupid, but it's because of the thematic concentration. You have to have several funds per region. And these are the funds for people-to-people projects. So it's for smaller project activities, which include like school exchanges, but also events, something like this. And it brings us to this overview of project types we can offer to our project applicants. You have the normal or the big projects like until 5 million of subsidy, which are really complicated. Then we have this medium and small projects. They are located in these people-to-people SPFs. And we have the SME scheme projects where you can offer these small SME projects with 100,000 euro subsidy. So this is what it looks like now. It's not definitive, but it's going into this way. Whether it all works out as hoped and planned, it remains to be seen. But due to the various crises we have at the moment, we have an environment where cross-border cooperation has become more difficult. I'm sure that you experience the same thing in your regions. At the same time, there are many possibilities for SME funding, not only the EU funds, but also the national funds and post-pandemic funds, as we call it. So there are many financial possibilities for SMEs, but in the same time, the SMEs are in big difficulties because of the energy prices and the crisis on the labor market. So I have to see how the Interreg program works. I don't think that it will be the same success as in Interreg 5, but let's see what it brings. Last point, the simplification that we had, it seems to have run out a bit of its beauty. There's more emphasis on controls and security again, and less on a deep bureaucratization as it was in history. And that's not necessarily a good point for the PP Light schemes in the future. So this is kind of a very short overview. I hope Google Translate did a good work here. But thanks for your for listening, and I hope there are some questions or discussion points from your network. Thank you.
Thank you, Martin. We have deliberately chosen a region as an example where certain processes, development processes, I may say, are more developed, more advanced. Just recall two statements what Martin said, that first is that the Euro region is managing the Interreg program. So it's given to them, decentralized, and they're doing their job. And you know, there's a certain type of trust and organizational cooperation to what we, I think, need a little bit more practice to achieve or get closer to this point. But probably this is the way forward. This given program management to organizations that are rooted somewhere down in the region and close to the border, but it's far away. The other what I want to call the attention is that he was speaking about project ideas, and also support schemes coming up in a bottom-up way. So not about chasing potential project holders, but active project holders who came up and made proposals and cooperated well before the support is given to them. So sort of self-organization of the entrepreneurial scene, let's say. I think it was important to observe in the presentation. And it's also interesting that they are more advanced, but being in the same programming period and facing the same regulations. So on the other hand, struggling with very similar problems and looking for similar solutions, which probably would make sense if further communication between the further design, between the organizations designing the RB Light scheme and this German-Dutch border areas officers could be continued on these issues, how to organize, continue this B-Light scheme, which based on this closed and open project, with a combination of this closed and open approach to competition of SMEs, or a sort of combination as he proposed. So raised quite important questions, but it's not my turn now. My task is now to show or to introduce another example, which is in terms of territorial challenges, maybe it's more closer to our region's problems, and this is the region of Burgos, where there's a strong focus on the development of the internationalization of SMEs in a rural setting, in a rural area. And I think from this point of view, we could draw interesting conclusion from that. So Beatrice, please have the presentation and introduce the Expande scheme as you run in Spain, please.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much, first of all. for giving me the opportunity to present this good practice expanded program in the final conference of Interventors project. My name is Beatriz García. I am responsible of European project in SODEBUR, the Society for the Development of the Province of Burgos. We are a public entity depending on the provincial government of Burgos, and we are one of the 2 Spanish partners of Interventors project. This first slide is important in order to understand our reality and the features of the companies we are working for. The province of Burgos is placed in the north of Spain. We are 2 hours and a half, more or less, by driving from Madrid, the capital city of the country. Burgos is one of the 9 provinces of Castilla y León region. We have 357,000 inhabitants and 14 square kilometers. The whole province of Burgos has 371 municipalities and more than 1,200 living areas. In fact, Burgos occupies the first place in number of municipalities of Spain. Even we have more municipalities than Portugal, for instance. The competences of SODEBUR and provincial government of Burgos are working for the municipalities with less than 20,000 inhabitants, which are 368 from the 371 municipalities of all the province. Only 3 municipalities in the province of Burgos have more than 20,000 inhabitants, which is Burgos capital city, Aranda de Duero in the south, and Miranda de Ebro in the north of the province. So our rural population is the third of the whole population of the province. And the population density in our territory is around 8.27 inhabitants per square kilometer. Expand the program is an initiative developed by the Chamber of Commerce of Spain and implemented in the territory by local or regional chambers of commerce. It is funded with ERDF from the European Union, and we are still working with funds from the last programming period, 2014 to 2020. Who can participate in this program? We are working with SMEs, micro SMEs, and self-employees in all the sectors. It's open to all the sectors. The objective is improving the capacities of the companies interested in internationalization processes with or without experience in this topic, and thanks to a series of measures according to the needs and features of every participant entity. There are 2 different lines: Expande, which we can say this is the normal version, and Expande Digital. Both programs have the same structure and concept, but they have differences in the objective and maximum budget for the implementation of measures in the round 2. Expande is an advisory program to support companies in the design of an adapted internationalization plan. It has 9,000 euros to implement measures in the round 2. And Expande Digital, as its own name indicates, is a strategic guidance for the development of a tailor-made digital marketing action plan. In this case, Expande Digital has 4,000 euros for the implementation of measures in the round 2. The program, both lines, are divided into 2 different rounds or stages. The first round is the support for drafting an individual internationalization plan. The objective is offering participants a detailed plan which allows them to be open to deal with new foreign markets and improve their competitiveness. This plan contains different topics: the selection of the target market, competitor analysis, customer segmentation and channel analysis in the selected market, design of a business plan, or marketing and communication strategy. The second round, the second stage, is the financial support, the co-financing for the development and implementation of some of the measures which has been indicated in the previous phase. The program in total has a length of 12 months. Economic conditions for participants. The first stage, the drafting of the individual internationalization plan, is for free for the company. This plan is developed for the technicians of the local or the regional chamber of commerce, depending on the territory. It has a maximum of 80 hours of technician to develop this job. The second stage, the implementation of the measures, is partially co-financing. In Castilla y León, in my region, and because of ERDF criteria, the co-financing rate is 50%. The budget, as I mentioned before, depends on the line. Now 9,000 euros for Expande and 4,000 euros for Expande Digital. Here we can see different eligible activities, research, dissemination and development of promotional materials, advertisement, participation at fairs, commercial trips, promotional actions, registration of patents and trademarks, digital marketing, and so on. How the program Expande or Expande Digital are implemented in the province of Burgos. The job starts with the signature of a collaboration agreement between the Chamber of Commerce of Burgos and a local public authority as co-financer. In this case, my entity, Sodebur, is the local public authority co-financing the activity. As I mentioned before, the first round is for free for the company because the half of the budget is paid by ERDF and the other half is paid by the local co-financer, Sodebur. The second round is also half-half co-financed, one of the half by ERDF, and the other half is co-financed by the private funds of the company, of the participant. Till now, the program has been implemented 3 years in the province of Burgos, always thanks to a collaboration agreement between the Chamber of Commerce of Burgos and Sodebur. We had 3 editions, 2017, 18, and 19. We have been working with 38 companies in different lines, Expande and Expande Digital. During this time, Sodebur has allocated around 72,000 euros. And thanks to this investment of Sodebur, we have mobilized around 350,000 euros in the territory. The most common profile of participants are wine cellars belonging to the Ribera del Duero, which is one of our most famous designations of origin regarding wine. Kind of projects which has been developed during the stage 2, we can mention the participation at international fairs, research trips to potential markets, promotional material for the target market, and so on. Thanks to Interventors project and under the umbrella of our strategic plan for the province of Burgos, PEBUR 2025, Sodebur is going to report a policy change. We are speaking about the type 1 implementation of new projects. It's important to mention here that Sodebur is the responsible of this policy instrument. This policy change will be directly linked with the strategic axis number 2 of our strategic plan, which is dedicated to business and employment development. Because thanks to Interventors project and related with our strategic plan, Sodebur has signed a new collaboration agreement this year with the Chamber of Commerce of Burgos in order to implement again Expande Digital in this case in the province of Burgos. So after the stop in 2019, and thanks to Interventus project, thanks to our participation in this project, the program will be implemented again in the province of Burgos. This collaboration agreement was signed in the month of June. We have 8 companies participating. All of them finished the stage 1 during the month of September. And nowadays, all of them are working in the implementation of measures. All of them are working in the phase number 2. This year, so the board has allocated around 11,000 euros for our own budget of this year, which meant an investment, a total investment in the province of 59,000 euros. Successful factors of the program. Why we consider that this program is interesting for a rural territory as the province of Burgos. Expande is considered not only an initiative to promote internationalization among our rural companies, but also a tool for maintaining economic activity and creating new jobs. We consider that this is a great opportunity to fight against rural depopulation. It is fair also mentioned here that Expande program in both lands is not also implemented in rural territories. It is implemented in most of the Spanish territories, but depending on the co-financer, the features of the program are adapted to the reality of the territory. And last but not least, I would like to finish my presentation with some strengths and weaknesses of this program. Strengths, the program is technically implemented in the territory for a well-known and valuable organization. We are working with the Chamber of Commerce of Burgos in our case. It has a good rate of co-financing for the participants. It's for free, the phase 1, and the phase 2 has a rate of co-financing of 50%. Something which is important in a rural territory, the technical support and the advice is given or is offered to the participants in their own premises. It has a wide variety of actions to be co-financing and implemented in phase 2. And we consider that this program has very good results in terms of participation and interest on behalf of our companies. Weaknesses. There is a lack of internationalization culture among our rural companies in the province of Burgos. In fact, we are mostly working with companies operating in the agri-food sector, exclusively agri-food sector. Other weakness is ERDF compulsory requirements related to administrative issues. Participant companies have to fulfill a lot of administrative data, a lot. The implementation requires compulsory the participation of a local co-financer in the territory. So the board in the province of Burgos. This part is compulsory. If the territory doesn't have a co-financer, the program can't not be implemented. And finally, the reimbursement of expenses policy should be changed because participants have to pay in advance all the cost of the phase 2, and they, after reporting, they receive the 50%, which is something similar that the previous colleague told before. And this is, in brief, expanded programming in the province of Burgos. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Thank you.
Thank you, Beatrice. I think we again heard a very high-value presentation showing another example and also showing that we share a couple of problems like pre-financing issue, advance payment issue, which have been heard by the Hungarian project beneficiary as well. And I don't think anything remained, to me at least, than saying thank you for the participation on this conference. I hope that you all enjoyed it, both you who are here present in Pécs and also you who are connected online to this conference. I think we succeeded in giving an overview of SME cooperative support schemes. We shared Hungarian experiences and also the questions to be solved. We have seen the German, Dutch, we have seen a Spanish example, we have seen the beneficiaries' perspective. So we try to give a complex overview on this issue, and hope that you share my opinion that we did it not without success. So I think it was a good conference. So thank you again for participating. Those who are present here in Pécs or in the driving distance, listening to us, the lunch is offered in the neighboring room here. And again, thank you for the participation.